parents, welcome to today's episode. Seth and I have a great discussion about why and when to hire a parent coach and a mentor. We go really actually in depth about some reasons why parents might not hire or why they might wait to hire, and frankly, what the ideal timing is, and how it's just like it's better to be proactive. With us, you will have a much better result. So excited for you to listen to this. Enjoy. Well, hello, parents, and hi, Seth.
Well, hello, Beth.
Well, hello. I just realized you're wearing white and I'm wearing black. I don't know why that matters, but
Yeah,
we're a little yang yang today.
I love it. maybe our conversation will end up that way. Who knows?
Maybe. Ooh, yeah, that's fun. Let's see. Great. Well, thanks for being here today. I've asked Seth to I want to have a discussion about kind of like why a parent would, and why a kid, frankly, a kid of any age, right?
Right.
Would seek more support than maybe a therapist. Because
Okay.
I'm a parent coach, you're a mentor,
Right.
and I think it's a valid question, which is why I want to talk about it. And it would be fun to also someday have a therapist on here as well, who could talk about that too, which I think I just thought of that, which is, of course, a great idea. But I see some parents, and it's okay. But they think, no, my kid already has a therapist, right? So
Yeah. Oh,
let's first
absolutely.
go into
Right.
why a mentor would be helpful on
Sure.
top of having maybe even a therapist. And some kids, of course, aren't even willing to talk to a therapist. They're only willing to talk to a
Right.
mentor.
Right.
But could you speak to just what a mentor does?
I mean, absolutely. A mentor is really there for an individual to find out what their goals are, what they want to work towards, and help them achieve those. And whether that's helping with like the executive functioning and task management, or whether that's navigating obstacles, or really kind of diving into on a more individual, I don't want to say personal level, but maybe personal level in regards to, okay, what's transpiring when you're like thinking about this and things along those lines.
Okay. This meaning
This
any
meaning
kind of challenge or
any
obstacle
kind of
or
challenge, any type of obstacle, or even like helping figure out, hey, what are your interests, not only in regards to like personal, but also work, school, like all of those
yeah,
things, and how do you incorporate that into a possible pathway,
right.
and really kind of exploring individual pathways and what resonates with somebody. And it's more of a walking alongside
Mm.
an individual versus, well, I mean, therapy, you
Ahead.
are, yeah, walking ahead, or kind of, you think about therapy, and I instantly think of, walking alongside versus actually, therapy is this
Like face to
face
face.
to face,
Mm.
which for some people is really beneficial. For other people, they reach a point of, I'm tired of this. I'm not getting much out of it. I'm tired of somebody else telling me what is most
Yes.
important for me to work on. And I think that's a big difference.
Yes.
Is a peer is, what do you want to be working on, and how can I help you? A therapist oftentimes objectively is looking at an individual and kind of figuring out what they determine clinically is going on for somebody.
Right. Not all therapists, but many therapists.
No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Right.
These are broad generalizations. But I
Yeah.
think I think that is a quick, somewhat fair
Yeah.
synopsis.
Sure. Well, what I feel like is sometimes quite undervalued,
Mm,
especially in, like, if we think about child development and the late teenage years, mid to late
mhm,
teenage years and the early 20 somethings, right? Is for much of a person's life, they've borrowed, let's say, the values of their parents, and they've also listened to their parents be very directive, right? Like,
mhm,
oh, you know, we like these sports, and we like
mm,
these colleges, and we think you should do this, and they
mhm.
just we're parents are, and it's okay, but we're constantly pontificating all our opinions, our
Yeah,
likes, our dislikes, like everything onto our children. It happens. But
sure.
the emerging adult, I would say, they really, really, really could use somebody who's not their parent and
Mm,
frankly not their therapist, in my humble opinion, to help
mhm,
guide them, like you said, like
mhm,
next to them, a peer mentor, right?
mhm.
To help them figure out, like, wait, what do I like, and where do I want to go? What do I want out of life? And
Helping
so it can
somebody
look different.
explore the discovery process, maybe.
Yeah. And I think it's an incredibly difficult task to put on parents. And most kids
Mm,
won't listen, especially the treatment kids, which we are, mostly working for with. They're
right.
not going to want to do that. And many of the treatment kids, I mean, if you have a kid who's willing to meet with a therapist, by all means and ways,
Mhm,
please do that
right,
and have a mentor. But
right.
a lot of these treatment kids are done. They're just done
Well,
with
they're
therapy. So,
yeah, they're done, as well as there might be some aspects that resonate with them in regards to the process, but
mhm.
remember, achievement, they are on this pendulum way over on this side where it's that they are told what to be doing.
Yes.
And this is what you need to do, and you come out of treatment, it's very frequent that the pendulum swings way over to, "Oh my gosh, I just want my freedom and to be able to do what I wanna do."
Yeah.
And a mentor is there to be like, "Cool, let me help you navigate that, and let's also, like, tell me what resonated with you, what didn't resonate with you." And
Yeah.
being able to have these, like, really open conversations, especially with a mentor who's, like, has similar life experience, who's
Mm.
maybe gone to treatment themselves, gone through similar life experience, there's a relatability that is different than a clinical setting. And
It's
so it can be a much more open, um, potentially feel less judgmental.
a
Um,
1,000%.
yeah.
Because I hear from the parents, right? And they're like, oh, but she was like so good at clarinet.
Mm,
And oh, and
mhm.
she could have played for the symphony. And they're just
Sure.
so hung up on, and I am very, very to blame for this. I had several kids who were
Mhm.
great swimmers, or I played violin. And I'm like,
Right,
oh my gosh, you should do that. And they're like, no,
right.
nope, it's just something I'm good at. Like, wait, and so we as
Mhm.
parents can get very hung up on who we think or maybe who is in front of us and what we think we know about them,
Sure.
right? And so I'm not. I am advocating for mentors. I think
Mhm.
ideally, which I think is really helpful to know, even though many parents maybe can't do this or kids
Sure.
don't want it. But I think
Yeah.
it's helpful to say, like, wow, if you can get your kid who is returning home from treatment, or maybe hasn't gone to treatment, or whatever
Mhm.
process they're in, a therapist and a mentor, I
Right.
think it can just be so helpful.
I
So
think I
helpful.
think it absolutely can, and you also have to pay attention to that balance of what is too much,
Yes.
and because
Yeah.
that's really important too. When someone's oversaturated, nothing's getting in.
Yeah. So
Um,
taking a break is a fine idea as well sometimes.
yeah, or fluctuating between the two, like, figuring out what is potentially what's connecting, what's resonating for the individual, and then leaning more on whichever of those services they are connecting more with. But a different support, continued support after treatment or before treatment, because it can be preventative as well at times, can be very influential and extremely beneficial for somebody that can experience support in a completely different light, that
Mhm.
feels different, looks different, everything about it is different,
Yeah.
but it is still support, and it
Right.
is still like a connection point in regards to helping somebody continue hopefully on a growth
Right.
trajectory.
Yes. And I love that you were saying that because I feel like there's outdoor, which is a lot what you do, right? Adventure
Sure.
type mentoring.
Yeah,
But there's also like music mentoring and
there is.
sport
Right.
mentoring
Yeah.
and art
Art.
mentoring.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
so many options. And
Mhm.
yeah, there really are. There's so many options. And to just to find some kind of continued um, something,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of it is, I've seen it, a lot of kids just want to come home and they are like, I just and I get it. They just don't wanna have anything to do with anyone, frankly.
Yeah, and also then it becomes like, well, when, right? How do you introduce what is next?
Yeah,
In regards to like, is it something that they're agreeing to just to come home? Can you
ugh,
have an introduction in regards to, hey, really want you to meet this individual so that there's all the barrier of introduction and oh my God, now I need to meet another freaking person who's going to be in my life, right? Like
yeah,
that when somebody is already home sometimes becomes a barrier. And oftentimes because of that barrier, I've seen it where, parents like, well, let's just see how things go,
yeah,
and that see how things go. And then they're reaching out when things are like in crisis,
yes,
or
yeah,
perceived crisis again.
exactly.
And so, that introduction I think is also really important, eh, being able to potentially, if the program and the individual are open to having a conversation with somebody beforehand, like actually knowing them, knowing that way they can actually hear from an individual in their words why they are different and what they want to do in
Yes,
regards to like, hey, I'm here for you. I'm
right,
not here, I'm not here to like tell you what you have to do, what you should do. I want to find out what are your goals, what are your desires, what are your next steps, and to have somebody feel like, oh, wait a minute, this actually might be different and this actually might be helpful, and actually I kind of like this guy or this lady, like, it can make a really big difference in regards to knowing somebody and having a reference point prior to coming home.
yeah, I just love what you're saying because I think it's so I don't there's not one person in the world well, typically okay, that was maybe excessive, but I'm just saying
Mm,
that the connection needs to be established
mhm.
before anyone's gonna listen to anyone's advice or
Oh,
opinions or
absolutely. Yeah.
so I think sometimes this I feel like what you're kind of talking about is it's it is hard to make that phone call for the parent, right? It's hard to call
Sure.
me as a parent coach. It might be
Right.
hard to call a mentor and like, do we really have to spend one more dime on trying to figure
Mm,
this, issue and all the
right.
things out?
Right.
And sometimes it's been years and years of effort going into an
Right.
individual.
Right.
And so I think some of the barriers that I see talking to parents regarding mentors and actually parent coaches
Mhm.
is they 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 wait until the last minute.
Right.
Right, like you're saying, until that crisis moment or, "Oh my gosh, they were doing fine, but then they just relapsed, or they
Mm,
just ran away," or, like,
mhm.
more crisis type situations. Then they're
Mhm.
calling us, and by the way, we can handle that. We
Oh,
can,
right. Right.
right? Like,
Right.
please, if
Of
something's
course.
happened and now you're calling us, absolutely call us. And it is better to be working with like the way we
Mm.
work with people is we're establishing relationships. We're
Sure.
establishing connections
Right.
like me with the parents, you with the kids.
Right.
And then when a crisis hits, we are in the know. Like we
Mm.
understand some of the dynamics. We're aware of the patterns.
Sure.
We're like, hey, this kid, maybe this particular kid needs some space. Or, you
Right.
know what, this particular kid, you got to call the cops now. Or,
Right.
whatever our
Right.
thoughts and advice are. I think it's like It's just so much better, and it's
Mm.
harder to call us when, like, quote, "the iron is cold."
Things are going well.
Things
Right.
are going
Yeah.
well.
Or
Why would you
right.
call a
Yeah.
mentor?
Right. Right. And but I think I think what you're getting at, which is really interesting because this just kind of like popped to my head, is this like this sense, right? Like when do you have that inner sense, that inner
Oh,
calling
yes.
of like, I'm not sure. I'm really nervous. I don't know how things are gonna go.
Mm,
I'm really apprehensive. Like, is there an inner sense of like, hey, I'm I'm starting my nervous system is starting to tell me something.
yeah,
Because like as a parent, isn't that also what your child, one of the things that is being taught is like awareness,
hopefully.
consciousness,
Self-awareness, self-reflection,
accountability,
yeah,
right? So like and as well as honoring this like inner sense of like, oh my gosh, didn't you get the sense that was wrong? Yeah, but I didn't listen to it, right? Like how many times I hear,
totally.
young adults,
Even
kids say
parents
that,
say that,
right?
yeah.
But like, can you demonstrate what it is to honor that sense?
Hmm, I love
Because
that.
that's also what we're asking the individual to do as well, is
Yeah,
honor the sense of this is this is gonna go well, this isn't gonna go well. And if you
yeah,
have that inclination of, maybe I might need this, explore it. My suggestion is exploring it before the need is dire
right.
is also more helpful, because if you're already elevated emotionally, right, then the processing is going to be different.
Yeah, agreed. It's interesting because I feel like, and again, we're talking ideally. If
Right.
wishes were
And
fishes,
you're right.
we are in
And
the proactive preparation, kind of like a bit of
course
plan,
correction.
yeah, course correction. And so, which I don't think a lot of people see us as, to be honest. I think sometimes
Mm,
people see us possibly as, oh no, the shit's at the fan. Let me call a parent coach. And I think,
mm,
yes, you
mhm,
can, but you will be doing everybody a favor, me and you, parents, and your
mm,
kid, is if there's a little more proactiveness to it. And I
mm.
also want to say that I think, and we have talked about this for years, frankly, is that we are part of the treatment journey. Like if
Yeah,
you have a kid,
yeah.
right, who maybe goes to wilderness, possibly now these days, not so many kids are going to wilderness, but hopefully some are, because let me tell you,
Mhm,
still a huge fan. Um, Going to wilderness and then maybe they go to a therapeutic boarding school or to a residential treatment
mhm.
center and they're like gone for sometimes upwards of a year plus
Yeah,
easily.
right.
Then and it's not just me and you, it's like the support that we're talking about is not just me and you, right? We believe there's
Mm.
plenty of other really good mentors. There's other,
Oh my
definitely other,
gosh.
so many good parent coaches out there.
Absolutely.
But what we are trying to do is I'm just trying to kind of help answer, when would I call somebody? Why would I call somebody? I
Mm,
already have a therapist. Why do I need a parent coach? Because I
mhm.
do something different than a therapist. It's
Right,
just different. I'm not
right.
a therapist, so therefore I'm not going to do therapy with you. I'm
No,
doing coaching.
right,
And to
right.
be completely forthcoming and pretty transparent, I have a
Mhm,
lot of discussions with therapists about the differences that we are going
mhm,
for.
mhm.
Um, and same with therapists and mentors, right? So
Oh, and
so
what's one of
different.
the things that like oftentimes when I'm meeting with somebody and we're getting to know each other, and if something comes up that needs
Mm,
clinical support, I get to have that conversation versus you as the parents have that conversation,
mm,
which can also incredibly lower that barrier to them
good point.
being willing to engage in therapy, because it's like, hey, like what you're talking about, I think like requires the clinical expertise of a clinician, of a professional who
Yeah. Yeah,
specializes
coming
in
from
that.
you is way better than
Like,
a parent.
right. Yeah. And so as well as it's also recognition of like, hey, what you just brought up, like number one, thank you for trusting me. Also, number two, like I'm not going to steer you wrong. I'm here to help you figure out what it is that you need. whether that's, with me or with somebody else. Like, so
Yeah.
all of a sudden, there's this advocate in their corner that can help lower a barrier to hopefully, again, to prevent whatever that presentation or issue was from getting worse without having that support.
Yeah. Very, very, very true. Yeah. And I can't quite explain it, but I've lived it.
Mm,
The barriers that just come up between parents and kids. It's just a
they're
thing. You've
real.
lived it as a kid,
Well, yeah,
and I lived
100%.
it as a kid too, right? Like I
Mhm.
really remember I won't like go into specifics, but really feeling like my parents had no idea who I was. No
Sure,
idea. Even though they'd raised
sure.
me, they lived with me for a really long time. It was
Yeah.
more like my early 20s. And I'm like,
Mhm,
they would make suggestions, and I'm like, wait, what?
mhm.
Like, you have no idea what I like and what I don't like. You're not paying attention at all. And
Right.
even though they might have, well, maybe, I don't know. But that's very common, right? To just feel really unseen, you know?
Absolutely.
And so another great reason to suggest a mentor and have your kid interview them.
No, absolutely. The
You
more that they're a part of the process,
yes.
the better. I mean,
Yes.
I fully a lot of parents hopefully appreciate this. Some might not like it. I mean, when I'm speaking with an individual who's underage or even, over 18, I'm very direct in saying, "Hey, this is only going to work if you're open to it and this is something that you want to explore. If you're doing this just because your parents are telling you to do it, I will have that conversation with them in regards to like, hey, you're
Yeah.
not really like open to this. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Right.
Right.
Because
So
I
because
won't
because I want somebody to know that it's their choice to engage with me.
yeah, you even were tapping there like, yes. I heard that's what you're saying. But well, you know what happens, right? And is the
Yeah.
parents, I think, tend to have some thoughts about where they want their kid to go, right?
Hmm.
I mean, the movement that they want their kids to make. Like, well, I
Hmm.
want them to, let's say they're coming out of treatment, like, I want them to stay off substances. They say they want to be clean. So they have this agenda, right? And of course they do. But that's a lot of the reason why a parent would, let's say, want a mentor for their kid is to reach
Absolutely.
their own agendas. And I've
Right.
seen that happen way too many times. And
Hmm.
luckily, a good mentor like you would say, uh, I'm not actually here to make your kid do your agenda. Sorry.
No, I'm not. I
Not in
mean,
any
it's
way.
you're right. Like, I'm here for that individual. Like that
Yeah.
is that is my focus. And that also is a different dynamic for a lot of individuals, whether coming from a clinical background or clinical treatment teams or from, treatment. They're not they're not used to that.
Right. Very much so. Very much so. So that's one thing to check into yourself, like as a parent. Wait a second. And like I get it. I'm a parent. I get it. Why you would have expectations. Of course you do, right? Of
Mhm.
course you want your kid to stay clean. I'm not saying that's not a great desire or a great wish. All
Right.
I'm saying is it's very much out of your control if you listen to our
Mm,
podcast at all. Um,
right.
and you're going to want to try and get support for your kid. And there's going to be ups and downs. And you're going to want to kind of check yourself if you're only trying to get your kid to talk to a mentor just because you want them to like comply with your wishes. That's just a very slippery slope. It's not going to work. So,
Well, it
yeah.
is, but it also can be, I also believe in providing choices, but
Mhm.
having, you need to engage in some we want you to engage in something, for continued support. It's your choice whether it's this, or this, right?
Yeah.
And, sometimes I work with individuals where that have been presented that choice, in which case they're like, "Well, you seem like the most fun because we get to be outside." And I'm like, "Cool, it's a starting place, right?" Like,
Totally.
I'm fine with that, because it's up to me to build that relationship and to build that rapport and to have somebody trust me, to be able to begin to open up in regards to their hopes, desires, and
Yeah.
trusting me to that I'm going to be there for them, as well as, if there is a return to use. You mentioned substances. Okay, what were the parameters around it? Explain it. Like, was it,
Yeah. What triggered you
yeah, well, it could be a trigger. It could be like,
or
did you know
wish?
that this was going to happen going into it? Do you want this? Like, what was the experience like? And versus that hard, like, straight line of you shouldn't do this. Like, I want to
Yeah.
find out what went into it, as well as what was the actual experience. Because for a lot of individuals, they're like, actually, it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
Like, that was a great reminder. I really don't want to do that again. Like, cool. Then let's figure out what that looks like and how to prevent it from happening again.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. One thing that's come to mind, because we're talking about mentors, but we're also talking about like parent coaches and why you
Mm,
might need it and want
mm-hmm,
ideally a parent coach and a therapist.
mm-hmm,
And one thing that I've seen, and this definitely depends on the therapist. So I really want to make there are so many great parent coaches and really good mentors and really good therapists. Blah. But
right.
one thing I have seen is that when parents only rely on a therapist,
Mm-hmm,
what I've seen happen is that the therapist is really there for the parent. The
mm,
parent is the therapist client, and that's
mm,
how it should be.
mm-hmm,
But the therapist may not be really considering the the kid very much.
mm,
And something that I think that I do really well, I'll just offer that, is really seeing both sides. Like, hey, I'm looking at the parent dynamic, and not to say the therapist might not be, but
mm-hmm.
it's really my job to consider the parents and the kid at the same time.
The whole
And
family dynamic.
yeah, the whole family dynamic. I don't do family therapy in any stretch of the imagination, but I do
Right.
work with the parent in the parent-child relationship because
Mm-hmm,
that's my job as a parent coach. So I just wanted to say like one difference, I guess, of why you would want to hire a parent coach. Like I said, doesn't have to be me,
mm-hmm,
in addition to your therapist. And your therapist might have some great ideas on how to be a parent, but they really
mm-hmm.
should be, I think, concentrating more on an individual type of
Right.
thing. And I do that too, but it's always in relationship with your kid. Like
Right.
what kind of parent do you want to be? How do you want to show up in front
Mm-hmm.
of your kid? You know, what
Yeah.
kind of values are you trying to model?
Mm-hmm.
What works and what doesn't specifically in your
Mm-hmm.
relationship to your kid. So go ahead.
Well, and I was just, you're talking about that, and I also sometimes see, well, working with an individual for a period of time, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, the parents will reach out. We're not seeing any of what we saw in the past. We're good.
Yeah.
And those are points where it's like I'm very malleable in regards to, great, but let's still have touch points. Like, okay, so maybe we don't meet every week. Maybe we start meeting every other week. Maybe we shorten the amount of time that we actually meet,
Yeah.
but having that continued support when things are going well, to like catch, like, that's part of my job, is sometimes like pointing out, like, hey, this is what I'm hearing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is like, are you aware that this is like, you're kind of shifting direction a little bit right now from where you've been. And so I'm able to like make the micro tweaks almost when things are going well, to help somebody continue on the path that they've said that they've wanted to go down.
Right.
Right. And
Yes.
so it's not that the service needs to be cut altogether. It's more like, hey, this is when we start to fine tune. And like, the fine tuning goes well, cool, let's
Yeah.
drop, right? But let's also like, hey, maybe we have a monthly check-in just to like continue to see how things are going, but also letting somebody know, because this is another thing that happens a lot within the treatment world is, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. Services stop, never hear from you again. So
Yeah.
like, think about having a mentor or a parent coach that is still with you even when things are going well, to have a touch point,
Yeah.
it can be so incredibly helpful in regards to the sustained changes continuing, that I cannot speak highly enough of,
Right.
because it's so much better than just, going continuing on this cycle of ebbs and flows.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
think you're speaking to a kind of a human condition where when
mm,
things start to go good, we stop doing everything that like helped it.
we stopped doing what has gotten us to that point,
Yes, yes. Like we stop our meds,
right?
like let's say we're on
Right.
meds or vitamins or whatever it is, or
Right.
eating healthy, and then we
Yeah.
feel good, and so we're like, sweet,
Oh, I can stop doing that.
I can stop doing that. I was like, wait a second, and that's a
Right.
very human condition. So I just wanted to
Oh,
call it out as one.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And it's one that where I think we're all as
I know.
individuals guilty of in our lives. But I think sometimes it's also like, oh my God, like you said at the beginning, how much more of this do I need to do? And I just want to be done.
Yeah,
Whereas, like, hopefully, especially with a parent coach or with a mentor, there's a different type of relationship where like that check-in, it's going to feel different, where it's not like a check the boxes, hey, what's going
crisis
well,
management, right?
yeah, crisis management. And so it just, I think, can be invaluable in regards to the long-term success.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just want to say also one more thing is that when it's so interesting because I guess one of the things I want to teach a parent the most
Mm,
is to not rely on your children's behavior to manage your internal world, right?
absolutely.
So if you've got a kiddo who, let's say, is doing better, and you're
Hmm.
like, and then the parent's like, oh my gosh, I think we're fine. It's like, that's
Mm,
actually not doing your work. And that's actually not why I'm here.
mm,
Like, yes, I could
hmm.
help you manage the crisis moments, but when
Sure.
your kiddo starts doing better, it's actually a really good time
It's a
to work
pivotal time.
pivotal time to continue to work on your parent skills of unenmeshing and being patient and learning about brains. And it's just like, and it's really
As
hard
well as
to,
connection and development of the relationship.
yes, yes, exactly. And so parents like, oh, the crisis is done, we're fine. And then
Mm,
I want to say, it's just what you said about like some of the more intricate work that I feel like you and
right.
I really love to do, and many
Mm,
people are so open to it. But there's like this kind of a missed opportunity when, oh, well, the crisis is done, so I guess we're good here.
mhm.
Like, oh, you know what? And I also get it's like financial. There's a lot of other things happening,
Of course,
and
everything has
yeah,
like, if and I actually, say this frequently, like, being aware of the monetary stress is incredibly important as well, because if that monetary stress and that stress, that financial stress, that financial burden is adding to like a heightened state of like not being able to regulate because of fear and worry, that's an issue as well. So like making sure that you are staying in balance and in line with those things is incredibly important too.
oh, 100%. Yeah, and it's so interesting. Many of our families, right, that we
Hmm.
work with are their homeostasis is closer to crisis.
Right.
They've been living that way for so long
Long time.
that it's very actually very hard to
Hmm.
kind of like move past the constant crisis feeling. I've had so many parents say that like, well, now what do I do? Like
Right.
really, like
Yeah.
and they just end up trying to control their kids still, even though their kiddos
Mm,
like elbowing them to kind of get out of their
right.
way. Like, I know I actually want to go to college. No, but last year you attempted suicide or something. It's like, I know, but now I want to go to college. It's
Mm,
so hard for parents to let that go and like kind of let their kids have like
mhm.
a more of a, well,
Autonomy.
autonomy. It's so hard. So that's another place I think we could really help
Mhm.
and help
And
your nervous
that's another
systems.
component.
Yeah. Live in a less crisis state.
Yeah, because that's another component of what I help individuals with, is how to advocate for themselves. Like,
Yes.
and what does that look like? And what does healthy advocation look like compared to like in the past where maybe it was manipulative, you know? Um,
Yes, totally.
yeah,
I'll just say what you want.
right.
To know this is really what I want. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and it's hard
Yeah.
for
And
parents
this
because
and this
parents
is
don't have
why,
trust.
right? Like, hey, this is why. Like, that's yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, and we're just we just want to help you as parents who mostly listen
Mhm.
here.
Right.
Um, just have the best information we can as far as our thoughts are
Sure.
go, and just trying to help you, um, you know, make
Mhm.
good decisions, I guess, or the best decisions you can for you and your people and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And a reminder, like, there's never a bad time, like,
Yes,
to reach out.
exactly.
Like, if
Yep.
you have the inclination, you have the calling, whether regardless
Yep.
of the reason or the rationale, please. And I know that you operate this way the same way that I do. If I'm not the right fit, I hope I'm gonna try to be a resource to
Yes.
help guide you towards what is going to be most beneficial for you in the moment.
100%. Like we just want to help families, no matter if it's
Yeah,
us or not. Yeah, I
right.
agree. Awesome. Thank you, Seth. Thanks so much for
Thank
being here
you.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.